Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here this evening with our new friends in Goldview. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast and hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. What's up? It's Goldview. Should I introduce our names?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm Nathan. I play bass in Goldview.
I'm Trevor. I sing.
Hell yeah. And you guys are in California, right?
Yeah.
I put CA in all the Instagram posts. I'm like, in California.
Yeah, California.
But I also recently thought somebody else was
like
from California, and I'm like, wait a minute, might be wrong here. Maybe they're just in Pacific time. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. I was just in California, and it was raining. So, you're welcome, I guess.
Brian brought it to you guys.
Yeah.
It was raining 2 days ago pretty badly.
You're not in the north end of California, though?
We are. We're from the Bay Area.
We are.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're more used to it. Yeah. Okay. No, I was in LA, so I was like making fun of all my friends that moved to LA, like to get away from the Chicago weather. And I'm like, that one sucked. Yeah. Oh, I guess it's raining in LA now. And they were pretty upset.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
SoCal wasn't that prepared for the storms that happened. There's like a lot about how they didn't have enough like to be able to catch all the water and use it in the reserves. Because they just didn't have the infrastructure for it.
You guys are based in the Midwest, right? Chicago?
Yeah.
Cool.
It rains all the time. We're just.
Yeah, it was raining yesterday.
Yeah.
Just like a little sprinkle to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Got you.
You got to do it. But yeah, tell us about Goldview. Tell us a little bit about the band. Let's let everybody know who you are as the band.
All right. Trevor, you want to start or you want me?
I was gonna have you take it away, but sure.
Okay. So I guess the band started. I don't know. Everyone has like a little different story. For me, my brother and I were twins. We're both in the band. I play bass, and my brother Newton plays guitar, but he's not in the interview right now. But I guess we started it back in like 2015, and then we just went through like a bunch of different lineup changes, and we changed the name to Goldview in 2018. So I guess you could describe us like, I don't know, like alternative pop band. Like we try to blend rock and alternative. Our new music has a lot of synth in it, so I guess you could just say like alternative. And we're from the Bay Area, so represent the Bay, and we just want to have a good time making music.
I was gonna say, fun fact from the lore of the band, we used to be an easycore band.
It starts
back in the day. We called Reach for Neptune originally, and we changed to Goldview.
What made you guys transition out of easycore?
I mean, for me, I've always I know this is like emo music, emo social club, so I always listen.
It fits.
It fits. I don't know. I listen to a lot of different music. My first favorite genres are like pop punk, alternative, emo, and stuff. But I've always liked synth music, and my favorite artist is Taylor Swift. So I don't know. I guess I saw her in 2015 on the 1989 World Tour, and then I've always kind of felt like eventually I want to make synth music, but I didn't know how to get there. So I don't know. I think like the more you get into music, you just get very curious about trying different things and evolving, and we would just make whatever feels natural at the time or what we're influenced by. So yeah, it just felt natural moving to a different style.
Yeah, we were we were doing the easycore thing for a bit, had one EP underneath the easycore sound, and then we ended up going to New Jersey to work with Nick from Man Overboard and Ace from the November, and kind of just ended up all realizing that it wasn't really the sound we wanted to play anymore. So we scrapped the original EP that we had, like basically had all the songs down for, and we completely rewrote all the songs and changed the sound and changed the band name and everything. So it kind of just all happened very quickly.
It was a hard pivot, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for me, like it's funny because like the way I view music, I try to like, I'm trying to like make sure like everyone in the world listens to it and enjoy it. And I think that most people don't even know the term easycore. Like it comes up, but for me, it's kind of like it's more like a subculture kind of thing, and if, in like pop punk genre, you might not be aware of that. So for me, I'm just trying to make music like that we all enjoy. You know, I want to be like innovative and creative with the art we make, and you know, goes out to the world, whoever listens to it. Hopefully, they can you know, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my I gotta ask about the Taylor Swift stuff though, because like
Brian is a Swiftie.
I'm absolutely a Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift, so that
Same.
it obviously is interesting to me. Of just like, oh, I guess you know my biggest influence is Taylor Swift. It's like, wait, what? Like, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people like in the like I don't know, like growing up in high school. I'm 26 now. In high school, like everyone walked around. They knew I was like a very big pop punk alternative kid. So like they made jokes about it, you know, like I don't know, this is like 2013, 2014. It's like I'm an identical twin, right? And then they would call us like the pop punk twins, which is like ironic and a little annoying. But you know, I don't know. After I graduated, like 2014, I just like dug back into like Taylor Swift like music, cause like everyone knew about her in like 2009, like you know when like Fearless first came out, like big break and stuff. So I was like a casual listener, but then like as I dug into like Red, I really got into it, and then like it just grew from there, you know. I always tell people this, like Taylor's like influence from like bands like Fall Out Boy, Jimmy Eat World, Dashboard Confessional. Those are like what 3 of the biggest emo bands.
Oh yeah.
And if you listen to like her songwriting style, like the way she plays like acoustic guitar, it's super similar. So I think that's why I'm into it. Like the songwriting is super similar, and it just makes sense.
I think like when I'm old as fuck, so I'll just say that like, but like at the time when I was in high school, we were funny enough just talking about Ashley Simpson before we started recording. So and like you know it was the time during like her married to Pete Wentz and releasing her own music, and it was like, well, that's Jessica Simpson's sister, that's like pop music. But then like her record came out and it was like pop punk, and I'm like, guys, it's kind of good. And everybody would give me shit like, you're listening to Ashley Simpson. I'm like, because it's good. Like that there's no argument there. It's just good music. And I think like we've now at least had enough time away to know that like there was a lot of pop punk music at that time, like in the early 2000s. So like we shouldn't be hating on Taylor Swift as an artist. She grew up in the pop punk scene. Like it's okay.
Yeah, like it's funny. Like for me, like I said, like growing up, like my favorite genre was like pop punk. I got into like All Time Low and Green Day in like 2009, which some people might be like, oh, dude, you're late, like because Green Day's been around since like the 80s. But for me, like as a younger kid, I got into that kind of genre, and I've always liked the pop side of it, you know. Maybe that's why I'm into Taylor, but yeah, I got tickets to the Eras tour. I'm seeing her in July, so I'm stoked.
Damn. Too lucky.
They spend a lot of money on Taylor Swift tickets.
I bet they did.
It was
not the
insane.
first time.
It was insane getting those tickets. I think everyone knows that. It's wild.
I remember looking at everything on like Ticketmaster because I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm a Jonas Brothers stan. So when I tried to apply for Verified Fan for their Broadway show, and I did not get any of it, which is very insulting. I was looking at like how much the tickets were, and it was like $192 before Ticketmaster fees for one seat.
Jeez.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm trying to go to 3 nights of the.
Jeez.
I know, right?
I was not at any of them, very upsettingly, but it is very expensive. So when I saw some people too, being like, I'm selling my Taylor Swift ticket for like this much money, or they're like, oh, I had an extra one, and it's like, oh, it's $600 for the pit, and I'm like, absolutely not.
I got lucky buying it, like, because I got in the queue. It took me like, I think, the day it went on sale, like there was like a system crash, and then it delayed for like 4 hours. And then once I got into like the waiting room and the queue, it was like maybe like near 2 hours until I got tickets. And then I bought it within like seconds. So it was just intense. And then the whole like legal stuff after that was just insane.
Don't worry, Robert Smith from The Cure is out here championing Ticketmaster fees for us all.
Yeah.
It's great to me that the people who are most in charge of tickets at this time in our lives, like fixing Ticketmaster and getting these people to like play nice with consumers, is Swifties and goths. That's just awesome. Damn, we can all come together under one umbrella. We don't have to be separate. We don't have to hate pop music. We can like The Cure and Taylor Swift.
Trevor actually, he did a couple Taylor Swift covers on his YouTube channel.
Back in the day. And then they had me cover Archer on Insta. But besides that, I don't really listen to Taylor Swift that much. I like if we're talking pop, I like Charlie XCX, stuff like that over
Okay, Queen.
See, I just love pop music. I saw Charlie XX with Taylor on the Reputation Stadium tour in like 2018. So for me, I'm just like, well, I like them both, Trevor. So
yeah, I know.
Look, these are all these artists are very good, and all of them should be influenced over pop punk. So all I'm saying is, you're out there right now and you're a pop fan, just be a pop fan. Write pop music as a person who, you know, also plays guitar. I don't know. You can do the same thing. It's
you can all blend it together. Listen, Travis Barker brought back pop punk to the mainstream. We have no genre lines anymore, it seems.
Yeah.
I've been listening to
back in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this like an interview, so I don't have the question set up, but I was gonna say like I've been listening to a lot of like Millennium.
Yep.
So I'm into that as well.
And we have questions, but we'll jump on everything because now I'm like,
I was about
let's
to
talk
say,
EDM.
like, we like to
let's talk about EDM,
we pivot
man.
around. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, I think that's like the other thing is like the pop music side, but then also like EDM blew up so much that it influenced like every other genre. And like there's no way to avoid EDM in anything now. Like every pop punk song has a synthesizer in it. So we're post genre now. Everybody just does everything, and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And also a lot of pop punk bands bringing back like the 80s sound too, with that specific style of synth as well.
Yeah. Which
I think a lot of people, if they hear like our stuff, like they're gonna label as pop punk, like especially like our earlier stuff. Like we have like a couple EPs out, but I guess if you listen to the newer stuff, like we just put out the EP Chapters of an Open Heart, and I guess you could say some of the stuff on it is just like pop, rock and pop. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like to label it, but at the same time, it's like you can't avoid it. So I'll just go whatever someone wants to call it. Like, all right, you know.
I mean, like you still are like you collabed with a lot of more traditionally like quote unquote traditionally like emo artists. Like you worked with like Early November and Man Overboard. And like all these other producers who have like worked with like these bigger emo and pop punk acts. So it's not like you guys are straying too far from it, but how did you come into like the fold to be able to collaborate with them?
So on this most recent project, and honestly the last two, we worked with our producer Sam Pira. He worked on bands like The Story So Far, Basement, Forever Came Calling, those kind of bands. But back in like 2018, it was pretty easy. Like Nick from Mano just chatted us on Facebook saying, "Hey, I checked out your music. Do you want to go work with us?" And then I grew up listening to Man Overboard, like one of my favorite bands. I like the Early November too. And so we worked with them in 2018, and that was really cool. Did like a 5-song EP. And then, you know, Sam Pierce from the Bay Area, so like in 2019, you know, we went to Panda Studios doing like a cover. And it was a Census Fail cover, so if anyone likes Census Fail, you can check that out on Spotify.
Yeah, it was a tribute album.
Yeah, just hang out with Sam, and then he was like, "Yo, like, let's make some new music together." So then we did like a 3-song EP with Sam, and like, it's funny. Like when I first met Sam, I was kind of arrogant. Like, I feel like a lot of people into alternative music, they have like these boundaries. So like I saw this sticker at Panda Studios, like an all-time low sticker, and they're kind of more on the popular side of pop punk. And then Sam was just listening to like the 1975, and I'm like, dude, like this guy loves like all music. So it wasn't just like strictly like metal or hardcore or pop punk, whatever. It was just like he loves pop music. He's just trying to make like the best song he could, like no whatever genre it is. Like he's just trying to make the best. And like his top influence is Max Martin, and I love Max Martin. Yep. He worked on like Britney Spears, pretty sure NSYNC, you know, Taylor Swift, Avril Lavigne, any big pop song you could think of, Katy Perry. So it's like when we met Sam and like talked about music, we were just like intertwined with that. So anyway, going back to like Nick and Ace, like we worked on our 2020 project with them. They're like, "Yo, come back to the Lumberyard." That was like their studio name at the time. And we already built that relationship in 2018, and it just felt natural, so we went back to record there. But then Sam's like, hey, if you're going back there, I kind of want to hop on this project. Like, let's make some music together. We can all collaborate. Like, in pop music, they have, like, multiple producers just trying to get, like, the best song out of it. So, you know, we just kind of collaborated all together, and then just kind of, like, went from there. You know?
And it started in 2020, and we released it in 2023.
Yeah, the songs have just been through, like, a weird journey, like, through time. But I think it kind of takes time to just get the best song out of it, or the best songs.
I mean, COVID.
Did I answer the question? I don't know. I kind of went on a different tangent.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting that now I guess the songs are 3 years old. I mean, I know sometimes like they're written before you go into the studio, so it's like maybe they're 5 years old or older than that. But like, what's it been like to sit on these songs that you've worked on for that long and be like, they're out now?
Well, for me, music, like, there's so much you can do with it, and I've always wanted to put out songs that go hand in hand with, like, some kind of visual, like music videos. I'm very inspired by, like, Angels and Airwaves. Like, I love Tom DeLonge. Blink-182 is, like, my favorite band, and then Angels and Airwaves is, like, there's been certain moments where I like Angels more than Blink. It goes back and forth. But, you know, the whole thing Tom does is, like, he tries to put out music with, like, you know, films or videos and the whole, like, visual aspect of it. So for the past couple years, we've, like, filmed music videos for these songs, and, you know, getting artwork done and trying to see, like, what fits, what doesn't fit. And the most important is the music, like, just the mixing process. Like, a lot of listeners, I don't know if they're, like, interested in that stuff, like the production and mixing stages of the songs is, like, super fun. You could, like, do so much creatively.
Yeah, we went through a lot with
it just takes time.
The change from the regular mixes to the masters and stuff. So went through a lot of changes, but, like, it was all for the better.
I'm just happy they're out now, because, like, now people could just listen to it and, like, just enjoy. Yeah.
You've got
now when you
well, I'm gonna ask this about production while we're on it.
There you go.
When you're sitting on a song for 3 years, right? Like, and you go and you record it, like, maybe at the beginning of 2020, and then you're like, okay, we're waiting on it, like, it's still there, but maybe I go back and I record that one thing different, you know? Like, you go back to the studio, you're like, I could do that better. I think this would actually be a better part for that. Is there anything like that happened in that time where you're like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do this differently?
Oh, for sure. There was one iconic thing. So, like, there was this, like, guitar thing that our guitar player Newton has always been interested in. Like, I can't describe it. Like, here, I'll give, like, the lazy explanation, because I can't think of a better example. But, like, there's this, like, guitar thing that, like, Angels and Airwaves does, like Tom DeLonge. It's not like for guitar players, it's not like a palm mute delay. It's not like anything like that. But you do use a delay function, I think. But it's kind of more, like, staggered out. Anyway, it was, like, this cool stylish thing, right? Where, like, Newton always wanted to do something like that, but I don't think we did it in 2020. And then after, like, a year of the pandemic, we went back to, like, get the songs, like, you know, mix and stuff with Sam. And how he works is, like, we go into, like, the studio and we kind of sit through there and listen to it together and figure out what we want to do with it. But Newton's like, hey, I think it'd be cool if we add this guitar thing. Like, I didn't add it last time, but you think we could try it out? And then Sam got into, like, this, like, artistic zone. I can't explain it. It's like, I don't know if you ever see, like, a magician or an artist, like, in their zone, and they just, it's like they're, like, in tunnel vision and, like, they're trying to figure it out. And it was, like, the coolest thing to witness. So he went through that whole thing, and, like, after, like, I don't know, let's just say 30 minutes, Sam was like, dude, I don't know what the hell I just did. I just, like, tried it out, and then, like, there you go, there. Is that what it sounds like? And Newton's like, dude, that shit was so sick. I don't know if I can cuss, my bad.
No, you can. You're good. You're good.
And, like, it was so cool because, like, it was, like, this iconic guitar thing that we were just envisioning in our head, and then it came out, and then we tracked it, but, like, in production, like, in engineering, like, I think you track it, like, isolated wise, and, like, it will sound better and how it should after you, like, you know, put the effects and reamp the guitars. And I don't think that we reamped it with that guitar thing, but the original tracking is in there. So I don't think people could hear it the way it was, but we did add that guitar thing. So yeah, we added a new thing, but yeah, it's a little confusing.
We added a lot more than just one thing, but I think that's the one thing is we added like this whole like ending synth thing in our song Chemical for the final, like basically after the final chorus, it's like the post chorus of the last chorus, and it's really cool. It like kicks in, and it's like this like really cool electrical synth stuff. And there's multiple things that we added from Lumberyard to Panda that like it obviously didn't change the overall sound of the song, but it just added to it.
Mm.
And I guess that just kind of happens when you're sitting on it for so long, like you were saying. So we just I think pretty much all of like 2020, we were still trying to get our stuff off the second EP released, and ran into a whole lot of things with COVID where we had to keep rescheduling for music video shooting and all that stuff. And then we didn't even film our first music video for that until like beginning of 2021. So it just like, I guess it worked out for us because we didn't even have anything released from the second EP at the time. We went from finishing one EP in the end of 2019 to recording the second EP in February of 2020, and then COVID hit, like as we were coming back from the studio. So it was a pretty crazy time to just be in a band and witness this whole insane thing happen with. So
we're okay now, though, sort of.
Yeah.
Cheers.
As good as we can be. We hope.
Were any of these songs that you have out now, were any of them originally easy core sounding, and you had transcribed them over, or were completely new?
So first, do you want to answer? Do you want me?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm too passionate. I always hog the mic.
You're good.
No, like the whole idea of this most recent project was like, all right, we're going to this like with a goal in mind. Like, I wanted to sound like Taylor Swift and Coldplay. And, like, we made that very clear. Like, we're like, dude, we're making, like, straight-up songs with synth. We're gonna, like, scrap all the, like, crazy guitars. Like, we were considering, like, you know, all these different styles that we can incorporate. And, like, you know, our guitar player, Newton's like, dude, like, I don't want to play too many power chords because open chords sound, like, more broad and you can do a lot more with it. And, like, in pop music, they use open chords. And it still sounds similar, but it's just more full and you can do a lot more with it. And like our producer Ace understood that as well. So like, you know, I'm pretty sure for like our song Believe and Brave, they use like open chords with the guitars. And obviously there's like lead guitars, like, you know, picking pattern styles. But I think in Chemical we did use some power chords, but like we wanted to make it evident to like utilize synthesizers. So the whole time, like, we're just working with like synths and like, you know, using guitars as tools to make the songs, but not necessarily like, let's make guitar-based songs. Like, let's just, I'm gonna quote Sam here, like, utilize the studio, don't be limited to your instruments. And that was like the intention. Like, let's just embrace the whole studio, the synthesizers there, like, you know, let's do that. So
yeah, because like we basically just thought about it like every pop song is pretty much vocally driven. So we're like, okay, so how can we make this music more vocally driven than like our previous stuff, where there was a lot of guitar leads and a lot of like extra stuff that was involved in it. And like simplicity is a way that you can kind of start it and then go from there. So we always kind of started with a really simple idea. Our like middle song, Chemical, was actually a song that I'd written years and years and years ago.
On piano
About an ex-girlfriend at the time. And the funny thing or like about Chemical is in the bridge of that song, in basically the intro into the bridge, there's a piano recorded backwards, and that piano recorded backwards is actually taken from a recording on my phone from back at my parents' house that they basically reversed backwards, and it the bridge of the song, which is like, we're thinking very 90s boy band for that bridge. And that's why
Trevor,
yeah.
Are you saying that loop from your phone was in the recording?
Yeah.
So
you know that, right?
Well, I think we took it out.
No, it's still there.
It's still there.
It's in the back. It's still there. It's in the back. You
Gotta
have
be there.
to hear it.
Trevor's about to play it right now to prove a point.
we can ask Sam about it because I remember we're like, nope.
No, it's still there, dude. because it's in the back of it.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll check it out.
I will show you.
We're adding it back in. We're going back to the
Proving it
studio.
live on
It was never
stream.
taken out.
But
Sitting
yeah,
on these for another 3 years.
Yeah.
We're getting it back. We're putting it back
Yeah.
in.
long story short, we wanted to make like synth music, and then like, okay, well, we still want to play some guitars, so like that was like the whole ordeal.
So if you
People
play it
can say
live,
it's still pop punk if they want.
yeah. Like if you play it live, are you adding breakdowns back in?
No, we
No.
haven't had breakdowns since Reach for Neptune.
Yeah,
All of our. what is
see,
that?
here's the funny thing. Like, I don't mind heavy music. I don't listen to like all heavy music, but like when it does come to heavy music, I do like hardcore. And the last time we made music that had like heavy parts was like 2017. I mean, like if you ask anyone, like, "Hey, what you do in 2017?" That was such a long time ago, right? For me now, it's just kind of like, making like music that's like synthy and poppy. And when we do it live, like we're gonna have like backing tracks and kind of like if you were to, I feel like if you listen, I might sound cocky here, but like if you were to see us live, I feel like maybe you might like artists like Taylor Swift or like, Churches. Do you guys listen to
Love
Churches?
Churches.
Yeah, Churches, as I like to call them, because they have
Churches.
Churches. They're great live. I've seen them at Lala. They're great.
Dude, I love them. I have a poster of Churches on my wall over there. But yeah, like I feel like if anyone were to listen to Goldview, they might associate us with like Churches or maybe some Taylor Swift, like the synth stuff. Maybe Walk the Moon. Alt pop stuff. So yeah, for live, definitely no breakdowns. But if someone's a fan of like alternative heavy music, but they also like pop, they might get down with this. I don't know.
I mean, you're saying in that vein, at least with your upcoming show with like Every Avenue, and you also have Make Out on there. Unwell, which is another big band that has been
I
up
love
there.
Unwell. Actually, I'm very stoked.
I've
to be
seen a
sharing
lot
the
of good
stage with
things.
them.
I've heard a little bit of it.
They're
I'm like, this is
so
actually pretty
sick.
good. I get it. And then also
We
our
were-
friends at Neverland.
Oh, you're
you
friends
know
with- you're
Neverland?
friends with them?
Yeah,
We interviewed them a while ago, but yeah.
we've known them for years. We did a tour with them out to like Texas in 2019. But we've probably shared the stage with them like 30 times. Like we've known them since like 2018
We're from the same area, so
or 2017.
for like listeners, we're from San Jose, so that's like the South Bay, and then Neverland's from like Livermore, so that's like inner East Bay. So it's like about 45 minutes to an hour north of us. But yeah, we're all from like the San Francisco Bay Area, so I mean we've played like so many local shows with them, and we did that little tour in the Southwest in 2019 together. So yeah, they're cool. It'll be fun to play with them again.
Memorable tour.
Is it I mean, obviously being in the Midwest, we don't have the same scene as California.
Yeah.
Or generally the state. It's a giant state, obviously, and there's probably many different scenes that happen within all the different areas there. But what is it generally like in that area where you're at, like doing shows and like the kinds of bands that pop up and the kind of shows that pop up? Like, I mean, it's very interesting that we know the same band through Neverland too, so that's pretty cool.
At least in the alternative scene, it's at least San Jose. San Jose is very big on hardcore, metalcore, and pop punk. So those are like the three genres, at least in the alternative scene here. So there's not a lot of local pop bands that we actually like know of.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting with music, cause like from the Bay Area, right? Like everyone knows like big time artists like Journey. They're from San Francisco. Green Day's from the East Bay, like Berkeley area. So everyone knows those kind of bands. Like The Story So Far, they're from like Walnut Creek. But when it comes to like local music, it's kind of like a little bit more low key. So I mean, bands like our style, like I don't know, like alternative or alt pop or like pop rock, pop punk, it's a little bit more low key. But I feel like there's always like cool, good music out there. You just gotta find it. But in terms of like more like smaller bands, local, like hardcore's pretty big. Like you guys know like Gulch, Tsunami, or like Scowl.
Gulch goes so hard.
Yeah, so there's like it's weird. Like the past 3-4 years, like hardcore's just like blowing up in the Bay. Like the 40831 scene, like San Jose, Santa Cruz. it's just they're dominating the hardcore scene right now. Like last year, Sound and Fury, like Drain headline, and like Goach headline the second night last show. It's weird because like in 2016 through like 2018, I saw all those bands like locally. Like I'm friends with some of them, and like I would just go to like those local shows. It was like free. Like I would see Drain at like this local venue called like Cafe Pergs or like Sub Rosa, and like no one knew them. Like no one cared other than like really dedicated low hardcore kids, and it was just fun. And then just to see it blow up is insane. Like, but though hardcore is like really big in San Jose.
The Santa Cruz church show with Drain and Scowl. That there's like a show in Santa Cruz that was at a church, and it sold out to where me and my girlfriend were trying to go to it, and we couldn't make it inside. Like it was wrapped around the church, and Nathan and Newton actually made it inside.
Yeah. Yeah, but... like Drain did a secret show like last year in Santa Cruz. That's where they're from. And like whoever gets there first gets in. Is it was free show. You could donate money, give charity to the church. But yeah, it's crazy how it's been.
I think it's crazy that in the year of like 2022, 2023, there are still church shows for like hardcore and alt bands. Yeah. I think that's so crazy. Like if that happened out here in Chicago, I'd be like, no, there's something weird going on here. They used to do it. I think the first and last church show I ever went to was for Crucial Dudes back in 2014, and that was the only time that they came to the Midwest.
I've never seen them live, but I've never been a big fan.
They're so good.
Yeah,
I love Crucial Dudes.
Yeah, my friend Ansley, he loves Crucial Dudes. Shout out Ansley. He's like I mentioned Ansley because like he's like one of my closest friends. Like he introduced me to a lot of like local music, and like kind of like showed me like all these bands and like how to get to local shows. But he's like the biggest Crucial Dudes fan I know. So that's an older band. I don't know if Trevor knows them.
I do not. I mean, I'm more of a metalcore guy than a hardcore guy, but that's.
Well, Crucial Dudes were kind of like
they're pop punk.
They're pop. They were pop punk, but they had they had really
like
intense
breakdowns.
Yeah, big pits.
Okay.
The big pits and intense breakdowns. Like when I saw them. It was actually in the town I live, in their downtown area, which I was like, why is this here? Like, this would never fly, ever. But, like, there was no stage. I had to sign a waiver in case I got injured that they were now responsible. I had to get my parents' phone number in case I got hurt. I was like, what the hell is this? So I go in, but there's, like, no stage. It's just in, like, their rec room at the local Catholic church. And we're like going off, and it was made into clips on Tumblr. So I was there in the front, so if you find this old Tumblr clip, you can see like younger me like absolutely like getting beaten up by all these like probably like 20-plus-year-old men, and we're just like this. It was so good. They're good. I definitely they only have like I think like an album and a half.
Yeah. I don't know the name of the album, but I remember like the cover was like a little tannish brown color.
Yeah. I forgot what it was called. I have it. But I also ordered, they did like a re-release with a bunch of extra songs on it.
Do you
during
have
COVID.
I'm sorry, do you have like vinyl? Like do you collect records?
Yeah, I have like a whole record player set up. So I have like a Denon turntable with the infrared, and I have surround sound and like a vintage like EQ. So I have like all my records.
Gotcha. So do you have the Crucial Dudes record on vinyl?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, because like for people that don't collect records, like when we say like, oh yeah, I have that, they might, because like it's like the digital age, like everyone's on Spotify these days. But for me, I collect vinyl as well, so I'm always kind of curious, like if someone has like that particular variant or like that album that's really rare, it's just fun.
Yeah.
A friend of mine just started. He like the other day was just like, so I've made the decision that I'm going to start getting into vinyl, and I just bought.
I feel like that's an old thing because like that was
kind
like
of was like I'm like, dude, you finally reached like you reached that level of like boomerism.
It's boomerism.
Yeah. And
The boomerification of Brian's friends in vinyl.
he bought the player and he bought like the sound system, and he's like, I don't know how to set it up. I'm watching all these YouTube clips, and I'm like, you have a phone.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need the vinyl. And it then became a conversation about whether it's like the collection of it or the listening to it, and like the different experience of listening to it on vinyl, where it's a bit more of like you're paying attention to it more because there's more of a manual use of actually like flipping the record over and setting it right. So you have this like different experience of the vinyl that way. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't need that. And I don't know. It's like when you're a musician, I'm like, I don't know, man. I hear like the worst sounding shit and I think it's so good. So I don't need it to be warmer.
I will say though, like, have you ever put on My Chemical Romance very first album, I Brought You My Bullets?
Nope.
And listened to Early Sunsets of Monroeville and cried in surround sound on the floor? Because I will say it's pretty great.
I've never listened to the actual vinyl of that record, but I love that record, like the actual just like album.
Listen to it on vinyl. It's life changing.
I don't own a record player. I went backwards in my thing. I used to buy everything. Specifically, I bought it through Amazon. Every physical like release. So like I have probably like 400 like CDs like next to me. So I went that way, and I would burn the CD and then put it on my phone through something called Black Player on my Android. And then I discovered Apple Music, and now I haven't bought a CD in like a year.
I mean, here's the thing with vinyl. Like, vinyl, obviously, when people think vinyl, right? Like, they think like 70s old school. But there's actually like, I'm sure everyone's mentioned it at this point, but like a modern resurgence. So I got my first record in like 2014. It was All Time Low, So Wrong It's Right. And I got it from Hot Topic. And then from like 2014 through like 2015, it was huge. Like every Hot Topic you went into, they sold hella like vinyl records. And this huge resurgence, right? And you can see it in the media. And then I think vinyl kind of died down in 2016, 17. And then in 2018, it went back up. And it goes through these waves. And then more so in the last, like, from my observations, like in the last year and a half, vinyl is just like huge again. Like, if anything, like maybe at the peak. I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm saying.
You're probably
not
right.
as big as the 70s. But like you go to Urban Outfitters, right? Like I go to like the local one in San Jose, like at Valley Fair Mall. And dude, like I see all these records in Urban Outfitters, and I saw a Grayscale record, like pop punk band. And I'm like, what's this doing at Urban Outfitters?
What's this doing here?
And like I'm pretty sure like I saw a State Champs record in there too. I forget what the name of their last album was. But yeah, like, and then my niece, she just turned 15 years old, and her friend got her a record player and like an Olivia Rodrigo record. And it's like, dude, they're 15 years old with vinyl.
Yeah.
So it's like this modern generation, like it's crazy,
You reminded me, another Bay Area band, Metallica, bought their own vinyl pressing plant because they sell so much vinyl. Like it's
that literally
now.
happened like the other day, and Jack White was like, "Yeah, welcome to the club."
True.
Wow. Yeah, but here's the thing with vinyl, like, so I'm kind of elitist when it comes to like equipment. I'm aware I hate Crossley because like they damage your records and it's just painful.
I mean, that's
like,
fine because you don't want something you're gonna buy and then it's gonna like mess up a lot of money that you invested.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I follow like record media pages and stuff and like follow up on all that stuff, and like for a long time I'm like, don't ever buy Crossley and lower tier record players because you're just gonna damage your records. So like get high quality stuff. Like shout out U-Turn Orbit, very good company, good customer service too. But I understand like entry level, like if you're like 15 years old, like my niece, you can't invest like, let's just say 700 plus on like your setup. So it's like, it's fun and cool, but eventually maybe they might want to buy better qualities.
I will say, like, my setup was probably under 500, but that's because I enlist Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And people who don't know what they have, because I got my Denon turntable, because it's valued at $1,000, and we only paid like $200 for it. because the person who had it had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
So that's also
Get on Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace. Let's go.
It's a hobby. It's like vinyl. It's an expensive and like stressful hobby. Like, cause like it takes up more time. It's slower. Like, and you go through like troubleshooting. So then it's like very costly. Like some of my records are like way too pricey. Like I don't know why I spent this much on it. Like I'm pretty sure my most expensive record's like $250. You know.
Which record is that then?
So I bought a Story So Far EP while you were sleeping. I think that was like $250. And then I used to have Mayday Parade self-titled, which I bought for like $250 as well. And I sold it because I'm like, you know what? I think someone else can make better use of this, and like I'll rather buy like 10 different records for like $20 each than like one really really pricey one. But that's part of the vinyl game. Like you get into like variant collecting and it becomes like obsessive.
That's too much.
But it's like
that gets a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
I think I did that with like one record by accident, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need the different colors.
Yeah.
I have it, I can listen to it, done, we're good, we're great.
For me, it's like, all right, so like 2015, I'm like, I'm on this mission. Like, I have to own every single copy of Mayday Parade's vinyl because this band saved my life. But now I'm like, no, I'm good. I might not even buy it.
Now you just buy like 3 or 4 copies of Midnight's.
Okay, yeah, so there's that. No, so it's ironic. Like, for some bands, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stream you on Spotify. But then I check myself. I'm like, you know what? All right, I should support the artist, buy like a physical album. But then when it comes to Taylor Swift, I'm just like, all right, I'll make an exception. I'll make an exception.
Did you buy of Midnight's, Nathan?
All right, so with Taylor's new album, she if you buy 4 different copies, it's all marketing, right?
Yeah.
If you buy 4 different albums, you put it together, and in the back, it makes a clock. For me, I'm just like, all right, I like that color. I kind of like that color. They have different alternative art. It's like, I get the marketing stuff, but as a musician, but at the same time, no, it's fun. Like it's art. You know, it's a collectible. Like I don't know. Like you guys like Blink-182?
Yeah.
Sure.
So like when they released "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket" like in like 2001, there were like different CDs. Like if you go to the store, you either get the Tom version, the Travis version, or the Mark one. They have like different CDs and colors. And I was like, that's so cool. And I've always wanted to like get something like that. So like with Taylor Swift, like more modern, she's putting out all these different variants and like, it's just fun. Like I got like 4 copies of the vinyl, the Target CD, a cassette. But it's fun too. I don't know.
I feel like most of the vinyl I've gotten has been when the record is being released, and it's like to support physical media and just get the pre-order bonuses or whatever it is for the bands, and I end up getting like the vinyl, or what I just do with Enter Shikari, because I was like, Enter Shikari's giving you tickets like pre-sale if you pre-order the record. I'm like, awesome. So I'm gonna do I'm not gonna buy a CD because I don't really have a CD player and I don't need the CD. But they had tapes, so I was like, give me a tape. And then I bought the ticket, and then I realized I'm busy that night. So now I just did all this, got a tape and a ticket, and now I can't go to the show. Anyway, if anybody needs a ticket to that Enter Shikari show, let me know. I think it's sold out.
In Chicago, on May 5th,
I got you.
because we have to DJ
We'll be busy.
Emo Night LA.
But I got you.
Emo Social Club.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on new Enter Shikari, by the way?
The nice thing about Enter Shikari is that they keep doing pretty much the same thing forever. Like they're just very much the same band always, but they just like improve upon what they do. And
their newest stuff is insane.
It's real good.
I love all the stuff that they've released off the new album is so sick.
It's really good. I'm always kind of surprised when they're putting out a new record. I'm like, guys, you have so much music. You release so many records.
Hell, man?
You don't need more. But then my other thought about when you do like that pre-order thing, right? And you're like adding it to your collection, right? Lindsay in the chat was mentioning about the Fall Out Boy record coming out tomorrow and getting all the variants of that is like, and I know Lindsay's not going to think this because Lindsay's a huge Fall Out Boy fan, but like, what if the album like kind of sucks, you know?
Is it
And I
good?
have this vinyl.
I hope it's good.
And,
I
like,
think it's gonna
yeah.
be great.
So like I got my first vinyl purchase. I'll put it out there for everybody, and you might not know what this record is.
Oh no.
My first vinyl purchase was Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy, because there was a pre-order bonus, and I bought it from Best Buy because Best Buy A was open and B sold music at the time. And
Dude,
that record
awesome.
fucking sucks. Like it's not a good record. And I was like, well, I bought it as a vinyl because I was like, well, this record is like 20 years in the making. Like this is like
Yeah.
a crazy like piece of history, and I need to own it. And now I'm like, cool, well, I've got it added my maybe I'll get into vinyl collecting. And I'm like, wait a minute, this record is not good.
No,
So-
I feel you, but it's fun though. Like when I was in high school, right? Which is like, let's just say it's 2012 through to 2014.
Mhm.
I remember like Best Buy. Okay, they still sell CDs, but like I think there was a moment where like Best Buy went in and out of not selling CDs.
Mhm.
But like it was like, all right, we knew that the new, let's just say Yellow Card album was gonna come out, or like the new State Champs, or like the new All Time Low. It was like, all right, we're either going to Hot Topic or we're going to Best Buy.
Mhm.
And it's like you go there with like your friends. I remember we were driving down the street, like two of my friends and my brother and I, to go to Best Buy to buy like a new album. And like it was so sick when you find it, because like sometimes you would go into the store like Hot Topic, you're like, dude, do you have the new album of this band? And they're like, yes. Or like they'll be like, no, all right, screw it, we gotta go to Best Buy. And it's like this adventure together. You're driving around like 16, 17, super fun, and then you go get some food after. So it's kind of like a journey. Like it's like an event out of buying an album just to hang out, and I think that's a fun aspect of it.
The days where bands had promotions through Hot Topic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
think
do that anymore.
they're trying to bring that back.
Are they?
I
There's
think
a
like
little
'cause
bit of it, yeah.
There's a little bit. It's very like I think they're treading the waters with it. I know their Hot Topic is sponsoring So What Fest in Texas though.
Nice.
So I think they're trying to get back into the mix of it, but I think they're kind of scared obviously because it's like a trend now. It's not like
Early.
they got to get into the butt rock side of it more because that's also what's coming on up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They still sell
I mean,
band
there's-
T-shirts at Hot
There's
Topic.
some good butt rock stuff.
There's
There
a
is
lot
some
of good
good butt
butt
rock.
rock stuff. Listen, every time we talk on this podcast, we end up either defending Nickelback or Taylor Swift or like someone like that, and it's like this is
Oh,
an
seriously?
emo podcast. Yeah,
I
know,
heard
right?
someone at my my radio station the other day. It was like in the control room, and they were like, "All right, guys, we can either listen to Cardi B again for the umpteenth time, or we can listen to Nickelback." And everyone was like, "Fuck Nickelback." I'm like, "That's a really bad choice."
incorrect.
Yeah.
Put on
I'm like,
Nickelback.
I'm running down the
Nickelback
hall
over
being like,
Cardi B.
"Absolutely not! You put Nickelback on."
Wait, do you like Nickelback?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we understand. Like it's Nickelback, right? We get it.
Yeah.
But also, I'm like, there's like kind of good songs. Like they're not bad.
I think with most artists, you just have to like dig into it. You might find something you like. But then there's also like the not my cup of tea thing.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of Nickelback is a lot of those lyrics of older songs have aged
Oh, yeah.
really,
Oh yeah.
really
Oh, yeah.
Oh
badly.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, do you
Like,
guys follow?
really badly?
Do you guys follow Canatonic Youth on Instagram?
no.
Oh,
No.
you should. It's so
you
good.
need to. You
So
need to.
it's like some videos of bands like performing live or music videos or all that, and it's like from different different eras, different times, but basically it's all like presented without context, but it's really bad. So it's
What's
like
it called?
Catatonic Youths.
I'm gonna write that down so I can check it
It's
out.
so
You
good.
have to. It's great.
It's a great Instagram profile. I recommend
It's always taken out of context, like every single time.
No,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, like,
you just they don't say we post bad performances or we post like musicians doing bad jobs at what they're doing or bad songs. They just post it and then they just say, and here's a video.
Yeah, like,
and then
here
you
it is,
watch it, you go,
everyone.
holy shit, this is really bad. This
Like,
is
for-
awful.
For example, if you guys are aware of Theory of a Dead Man, they go by Theory now. They're opening for Disturbed on their upcoming summer tour. They have a song from like the 2010s called I Hate My Life. And in the second verse, they say, I hate that I can't tell when a girl's underage. and they posted. Catatonic News posted that, and it got so much backlash from people that YouTube took it down. They put it back up, unfortunately. But I mean, like, but because that came out during a time when it was like
different time.
No one knew. Like, I watched it all the time. It was on Fuse when I watched it, and I was like, oh shit, like this is a banger. And I'm like, oh my god, that's really not great.
Yeah. So that page, they just like expose a lot of weirdos. Or?
They just post like it's like, okay, imagine if like your first music video was like posted on an Instagram page with like, tens of thousands of viewers on it. But the context is kind of like, these aren't good. But also like, I mean, I've done music videos. I know my first music video is not that good. I was young and I was learning, and it's like, yeah, it's fine. So I don't think everybody goes into it like this is bad and we hate it. I think more people go into it like this is bad and we've all been there too. Like everybody kind of shares in that. But then they also post like major artists who have like gone on stage and just had like breakdowns or bad performances, and they just kind of like post it all together. It's mentioned in the chat, cringe humor. It's like, ooh, not great, but we all kind of get the joke. Like we get like one band from way back in like the metalcore days, like the Rise scene days and all that.
I know like all of them.
Yeah, it was like a band, like a more like.
I'm gonna describe it because he probably doesn't remember their name.
I don't remember their name.
And then Trevor's gonna guess.
I don't remember their name. The song, awesome. It was really like just overdone.
How did it go, Brian?
No idea.
Can you recreate
Couldn't tell
it for
you.
Trevor?
I can only tell you that the singer looked like Dennis from It's Always Sunny. That's all I can tell you. And it was a very like unknown band that just had this very like outlandish video. They're wearing like wild costumes and makeup, and there's lights, and the song is like, massive breakdowns, and then like the synth breakdowns and the dancey parts, like Attack, Asking Alexandria in 2011, 2012.
They had like really flashy costumes.
Yeah.
I was like skip the foreplay.
No, I know Skip the Foreplay.
God,
Skip the Foreplay was also not that good.
You know what's funny? One of my friends from high school was like, guys, do you remember this band? And he posted it. And I remember I saw them in fucking Joliet, Illinois. Yep. And I'm like, this is the band. They still go.
The cover of Champagne Showers.
Yep.
And I think it was Warped Tour one year. They like had one of their guys dress up as a penis.
Yep.
Like he was just a penis on stage.
See, that would be the kind of thing they would post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish we could have played Warped Tour.
Oh God,
yeah. It ended.
That
was like one of my dreams, like for like an alternative band starting out, right? I was like, dude, like if we could just play Warped Tour, that'd be so fun. Because I went to my first Warped Tour in 2012, and like for my brother Newton, he was like, that changed everything. It's so weird, like you listen to your favorite artist and like you're inspired by them, and then you do the same things and it inspires you. Like we would grow up watching Sum 41 interviews, and they're like, yeah, dude, we started our band after Warped Tour, and then my brother was like, yo, we just went to Warped Tour 2012, let's go do that. And then we just went every summer, like like I think summer after like sophomore year high school, junior year, and then like every year until it ended. It was like such a fun, youthful event, and like so much passion, and it's just nostalgic now looking back, and I'm just like, damn, wish we could have played.
I mean, that's also how you guys built some like connections with people in the industry too.
I don't even view it like that. It's funny.
They're the social butterflies. They're very good at that.
It's interesting. It's interesting to me when people say like, "Oh, people in the industry," or like they view cities like markets.
I'm talking like alternative industry, not
for me. I'm just like, all right, that's a cool dude. Like we could be friends. Like we can make music together. We could play music together, and like Warped is cool. There's like a punk rock community aspect of it. Being humble and like your roots. I don't know. There's like two sides of Warped Tour, like the punk rock side or the metal side.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, I've always been on the punk rock side of it. And like the roots it was supposed to be there all the way. I don't know.
There's a very interesting thing that I'm glad has happened in that younger generations, again, I'm like 100 years old, but like in younger generations, like I remember Warped Tour as a very specific, like, dude, if you're on Warped Tour, you're the coolest thing in the world. And
know,
if you're
right?
not on Warped Tour, you're not cool at all. And everybody on Warped Tour let me know that I was shit because I wasn't on Warped Tour. I was, okay, this is a very specific moment when I was sitting with one of my friends was friends with Bless the Fall, like way back in the day.
That's cool.
And this was with Craig Mabbitt as the singer. And this is when Escape the Fate with Ronnie Radke was on a Warped Tour.
Uh-huh.
And then Craig Mabbitt was sitting there singing an Escape the Fate song at like the merch, like just hanging out and singing it. And then he went on to become the singer of Escape the Fate when Ronnie went to prison and became Ronnie Radke. No context.
I have him on my wall.
Look, no context. He writes some bomb music. I don't love his personality, but that's okay.
Listen, I was at the first Falling in Reverse tour show
same.
in Joliet, Illinois.
Look, I was in art class junior year, and I did an oil pastel of him sitting in a in a lawn chair, and that's still on my wall.
Hell yeah.
All right,
my
I guess
God.
here's now I have to give my story about Falling in Reverse. So
Please.
It's not great or anything, but like I listen to them, like it's weird. Like I've never really been a metal or metalcore kid, but like I remember like my friends in high school were really into Falling in Reverse. So I'm like, all right, let's check it out. And then I bought their CD in 2012, and like it was funny. Like I was at Warped Tour, and they were like the last band that played. But I was hanging out with this Canadian pop punk band, Living with Lions, like taking photos, and we're like, I don't want to go see that band. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I kind of got into them, and I bought the CD, but then I kind of fell out of it.
I mean,
They-
it's okay.
they
The
became
first
something
album
else.
does go.
Yeah.
Like I saw the Drug and Muse You tour like from the get go, and then I had to leave early because my friend smoked too much weed and didn't eat anything, and we thought he was dying. So then we had to call an ambulance and call his parents, and then I actually reconnected with that friend during COVID, and I went over to his parents' house that we used to hang out with in high school, and they're like, weren't you the one that he was with when he almost died in the back of that music venue back in 2012? And I'm like, we're not going to talk about that.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. What? My bad. Go ahead.
No, well, you go ahead.
All right. Yeah, like Warped Tour is cool because like you could always find so much different music. Like a lot of people like they view it like pop punk, punk rock, metalcore, which is true for the most part. Like it started as a punk rock festival, like bands like NoFX, Bad Religion, Pennywise, and I love all those bands. That's why like when the last one, like the 25th anniversary one happened, like the lineup was so sick. Like growing up, I was always like, dude, I would love to go to Warped Tour and see Bad Religion and NoFX. And then it happened, like Lagwagon, Face to Face, like those kind of bands. Kind of, because like for a moment there, like Warped Tour became very dominated by the metalcore scene.
Oh, yeah.
No diss on Trevor or anyone, but I'm always kind of making fun of the metalcore kids because I'm like, dude, like Warped Tour is punk rock. Like I want to see bands like NoFX and Bad Religion. And then like you walk around and like my friend's wearing like jeans or like it's hella hot, but they're wearing like all black clothes, and I'm like,
that's
dude,
a part of it. That's a part of the experience.
I'm like,
me
dude,
too.
let's bring out the Dickie shorts, you know, like I don't know, like the khaki Dickie shorts. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is like you can always find so much cool music wherever genre you're into on Warped Tour. Like Black Eyed Peas played, Katy Perry played. And like you could kind of like give appreciation to all these different artists, and I'm like, all right, it's sick. Like, I might come from like punk rock, pop punk backgrounds, but like, let's check out this band. Like, I was watching, I'm pretty sure, Motionless in White before the story so far, like for a bit, and I'm like, I could appreciate this because they're just out there trying their best, you know. So that's what I love about Warped Tour, like this community where like, all right, let's give all these different artists a shot. Yeah, you know. But I'm still gonna make fun of everyone.
Yeah,
like Trevor.
Look, Rise Core has fallen to the wayside, and that's
okay. We don't need Rise Core anymore.
It's okay. Listen, like if you listen,
bands.
If you listen to enough Sirius XM Octane, you got everything you need.
Okay.
Yeah. That's active rock in a nutshell. That's
active hard rock. Trust me, I listen to Octane pretty daily between that and Alt Nation.
Yeah.
Wait, Rise Core, as in like Rise Records bands?
Yeah, like
Rise Core,
Attack, basically anything produced by Joey Sturgis, anything like that has that sort of tone to it.
Yeah.
And probably anything that has a dance breakdown in it at some point.
Hey, you know, man,
the funny thing is Bad Overboard and Early November were on Rise Records.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know how I knew about how I found out about Rise Records. So like I listened to Man Overboard and like Transit, and they signed to Rise.
Yep.
And when they first did, everyone was like, "Dude, like, are you guys not gonna be like alternative pop punk bands anymore? You guys gonna go metal?" And they're like, "Dude, we're still like making our music. It's just on Rise Records now."
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure a Scarlet Drive was on Rise Records.
They were.
Yeah.
I love Scarlet Drive.
Now currently going through a weird name thing.
Yep.
Wait,
where
really?
There's two different bands. Yeah. So there's the former Scarlet Drive, which is just basically Jagger, and then there is like the original lineup of Scarlet Drive trying to be Scarlet Drive again, but they can't because Jagger owns the name or claims he owns the name.
I think I read about that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, like a straight up like legal battle now.
There was Liz, you remember there was like that other fest we were going to go to in Vegas that got canceled? They were playing that, and I was pretty excited about seeing that.
Was that the one we were hungry one?
Yeah, the one we were hungry one.
Yeah,
so
the one that one of our friends was actually on that College Radio. They were on that when we were hungry.
Oh, you know College Radio?
we were gonna go because we were gonna be there because we were there for when we were Young Fest and we were DJing when we were out there. So we were there for like a week. So we're like, oh, we can just go. No, we could not just go because it got canceled.
Yeah, we're like, cool. We're gonna be in Vegas for a week, and we don't even have that other fest to go to. So
listen, we had a great time in Vegas regardless.
We did.
Yeah, you always will. You always will.
One of the days was canceled for when we were young too, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to go to that day.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to Sunday, so I lucked out.
Yeah, I got tickets. We got tickets though because of people in our friend group and our like 13 group chat thing were able to get us tickets. It's okay. I saw some of my friends get married at a chapel that day anyway.
Oh,
so
really?
Out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's sick.
The best
Full Vegas experience.
There you go.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
So we're at an hour for the recording. I want to keep chatting a little bit. We can hang out on Twitch a little bit, do a little post episode chat with everybody over on the Twitch end of it. But before we do that, before we end the recording, I want to make sure you have a chance to toss out all your plugs. We can make sure people are buying tickets to that show on the 22nd of April. They can see you. They got to come early and see you and our friends in Neverland. So let's make sure we promote that to everybody out there listening. But where else can everybody find you on the internet, listen to the music, all that stuff?
So that show, just to reiterate, it's in Cupertino at the X Bar on Saturday, April 22nd. You can find tickets. I'm pretty sure like the links on if you go so the production company is called Pinup Presents. So you can look at Pinup Presents Instagram or like I'm pretty sure every Avenue's account or like Makeout. Honestly, you could probably just show up at the door, line up, probably get in.
Old school.
That's how I would do it. It's actually going to be really fun because the venue there is next to a bowling alley. So it's the Homestead Bowl and X Bar, and a lot of people know about it now because like there's been a lot of shows there. So it's going to be an exciting thing. But yeah, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok.
We have
at Goldview CA.
We have 3 music videos released for the new EP as well. So all of those are on YouTube. If you find it underneath our Goldview YouTube page, it's just Goldview. Goldview Official, I think. But you can just find it on there, and all of our music videos along with the 3. Put a lot of time and effort. Music videos. Newest one, Brave, that one just dropped like last week.
Yeah. Chapters of an Open Heart.
Yep.
But were there any other questions that you wanted to ask that we didn't get to?
No, I mean we'll get to those on the Twitch. So we'll leave this as like the end of the recording. Let people know they're missing out if they're not over on Twitch. So we can hang out over there. We can answer more.
I know, right?
Make sure if you're in that area of California, you know, where it rains normally, the Bay Area. Get to the show. Get to the fucking gig. Don't miss out.
Get to the gig. Don't be a coward.
Yeah. When you go check out, when you're listening to this podcast, you'll be able to go and check out Goldview on the same platform. Just search for them. Look at the videos. Like, comment, subscribe, follow for more. All that good stuff. So, let's go over to Twitch and hang out over there. But for everybody listening, thank you for checking this out, and thanks to Goldview for being on the pod tonight.
Thank you for having